Well, hey, everyone. And by everyone, I mean no one right now, but that's okay, Brett, because I'm sure we'll catch some people on the replay. It is a Thursday, and a lot of people go live on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get some people joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on, Christy. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I have spoken to you a few times, like in a roundtable situation, right? And so we don't get a lot of like back and forth that way. We're all kind of answering all the questions. But I haven't gotten to speak with you, kind of one-on-one like this. And so I wanted to have you on and take this opportunity to meet with you. So yeah, thanks for doing this and for bringing the meat locker because it's amazing.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Always great talking with carnivores, and this community is just fantastic, and I just love that just by putting myself out here has linked me up with so many other people. I otherwise never would have known who you are or who Alia is or Ellie from Nourishment or any of those other people, and it's just been a real blessing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. That's one of the beauties of, there's a lot of downfalls to social media, but this is one of the beauties of it is like, yeah, here I am in Southern California. I never would have met you, halfway across the country or Ellie over there in Florida or, any of these people. And it's like, who knows, maybe we'll get to meet in real life now at one of these. I don't know. Are you going to anything coming up? Like I'm going to KetoCon in Austin. So I know a few people that are going to be over there. Are you going to head over there?
I can't go to KetoCon, but I am going to go to Ketopalooza in Louisville. Okay. Because that's only a 2-hour drive for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've been authorized to go there.
Authorization approved. Yes. So since I am going to Austin and neither one of those places, Louisville or Austin, are not within driving distance for me, I'm going to have to pick and choose this year. So I will not be at Ketopalooza, but I'm hoping to do that in future because I've heard that event is like really awesome.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, so you'll have to let me know, and I will let you know about KetoCon, and we'll compare notes.
If I had my choice between the two, I'd probably go to Austin as well. I've heard it's a beautiful city, and there's lots to do, and Louisville's cool too. But
yeah,
here in Indiana, we don't get a chance to go to Texas very often. So
yeah, that's true. Well, my mom has relatives in Austin, so we're staying with one of my mom's cousins, and she's going to let us borrow a car. So it's like that's going to save us hotel. My mom's going to. It's going to save us hotel and car and all of that. So it's just going to be the plane and the the ticket and the food. So it'll save us a little money that way, and I'm looking forward to it and hanging out with my mom and meeting a bunch of people in the awesome community we were just talking about. Speaking of, hi Karen.
Hey,
Karen is saying hello to the both of us.
She's great. She seems to jump in just about everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much you can count on Karen and Jay as well. I just found out that Jay's a teacher like me, Brett. Isn't that awesome? Except he teaches middle school. Which I'm middle school adjacent. Hi, Bernadette. I'm not sure if I know you, but you're coming in from South Bend, Indiana. So that's
at
awesome.
The very top of the state.
Okay.
That's where Notre Dame is.
Okay. There we go.
Nice little town up there. They get like here in Indianapolis, I'm in the middle of the state, and we get some snow and cold and stuff, but South Bend gets lake effect snow off of Lake Michigan.
Okay.
The weather system goes over the open water and sucks up a bunch of moisture and then dumps it all over South Bend. They get they
Well,
get
here's
fake
Pixel
snow
saying hello.
there.
Yeah, I get no snow and I'm very happy with that. So all you guys in the snow can just keep your snow where it is. It's fine. It's beautiful from afar. I will admire it and like it from
Yeah.
here. Just
South
don't,
Bend can get big snow.
yeah. So Karen, I've heard this too. She said the way I understand it, you will like Ketapalooza better, that it's a more intimate group.
Oh,
So let me tell you, if you're into that kind of thing, like I know they have like a game night and like that kind of stuff. So if that's your jam, more power to you. That's not really my thing. I think I'm gonna like the more I don't know, the larger nature of it, picking and choosing the venue, going to hear the speakers, and then a couple of people that I know are going to do like some meetups. But yes, I hear you, Karen. Some people do like a more intimate setting. I'm just not one of them. I think I'm going to enjoy KetoCon. And Jay is saying I was on Christy's channel, but wanted to pop over here to support both. So yeah, there you go.
thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome. I try to do that too. Plus, it's a good way to see what's going on in all the chats. Um, is this one of your subscribers, Brett? I don't recognize this.
Yes, he is.
Okay, awesome. Nice to meet you, Kettleheads Barbecue and Beer. Um, and then hi again, Laura Blue Sky. I recognize you from yesterday, so welcome in. So, all right, I think that's all the hellos for now. But Brett, what I would like to hear from you, hopefully, is your story in a nutshell, like your health journey. How did you get on carnivore?
All
Where did you
right.
start? Where are you now? What benefits have you had? All that good, all those juicy details.
Well, back about 6 years ago, I did keto,
Okay.
like a lot of people did. Had some luck with it, lost some weight, and then right about that time is when all the keto treats and cookies and bars and all those
Mm,
things came out, and I bought all of them, ate all of them, and what that did to me was it derailed, it kind of got my sweet tooth going again, which led to, having keto Reese cups just led to having regular Reese cups.
right. Because
And,
the regular ones are cheaper. The keto ones are going to be 10 times the price.
right, right. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can have one of these and it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So, I did all right with that. And then I, gradually over time gained my weight back. And then, went a few years heavy and my type 2 diabetes came back. And finally, last year on St. Patrick's Day, I'd been thinking about it and I'd heard a carnivore. And I just like, today's the day. I just I gotta get on it. I gotta do something. You know, I can't control myself, and I need something that'll help me control myself.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because I'm not a moderator. Um, and turns out I had a pretty fierce sugar addiction, which was kind of hard to see while I was in it. But now
Mm-hmm.
that I'm on the other side of it, I recognize all the things that were going on with me. So,
Okay.
but now I just had my 10-month carniversary yesterday.
Awesome. Happy
Um,
carniversary.
thank you. Thank you. Type 2 diabetes is in remission now. High
Okay.
blood pressure's under control. I used to get some aches and pains in my joints.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of different competitions and martial arts and stuff for several years, and that left me with some achy joints, and I don't really have that anymore. So, but really, me, I'd like to, be one of these people that have just this incredible story, of something that I overcame that was just some incredible hurdle. But honestly, I'm just a regular dude
Mm-hmm.
who worked office jobs, ate just crap food for decades, got type 2 diabetes, sat on his butt for years and years and years, and it caught up with me. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liken myself to most people out there.
Yeah.
Um, because there's millions of people just like me, men, women,
Hmm.
all different races, colors, creeds, and flavors that are just overweight and getting sick and need to do
Hmm.
something about it. And hopefully, some of those people may see my channel, see your channel,
Yeah.
whoever else, and get it in their head that they can do it too. Um, and really, I mean, I'm just another one of those guys that said, if I can do it, anybody can. Um, and that's true. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you went keto, was that like one in a line of many previous diets and an attempt to lose weight, or why had you gone keto previously?
Well, back in like the early 2000s, late 90s, I had heard of the Atkins diet, but I
Okay.
didn't really understand it. And I didn't really understand what diabetes even was.
Hmm.
I'd heard the word, but I didn't really understand what it was, you know.
Yes.
So I tried like just eating some meat and like toppings off of pizza and, just getting rid of bread and stuff. And I lost some weight. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I did it for a little while, and then I didn't really get it or understand it, and I just ended up going back to eating whatever because I was a weirdo, around all my friends, and so
Mm.
it just kind of became more of a social barrier. Then I just kind of let it go and didn't do it anymore. And then when the keto thing kind of fired back up, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that kind of worked for me. And I was
Mm.
watching videos. Dr. Barry was still keto at the
Okay.
time, and um, there were a bunch of other channels. My Zero Carb Life,
Hmm.
she was making videos, and so that's kind of inspired me to give keto a try.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like, I don't know, and to some extent similar to me because when you were trying Atkins or what you knew about Atkins, that was me too. Like I knew about Atkins. I knew it was low carb, but I didn't read the book. I didn't really research it. I didn't watch videos. I didn't
right.
tell anyone about it, talk to anyone about it. It was just like, don't
Yeah,
eat bread, eat some bacon, eat meat, what kind of like, but the Atkins shakes are probably fine. And, because
right.
it says Atkins on it.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the carb. I didn't know that net carbs were probably not the best way to go. I
yeah,
didn't know that it should be 20 grams of total carbs. So I just didn't have the proper human diet, as we say sometimes, education, right?
right.
And
And there
so I
wasn't a
never.
YouTube out there for us to watch videos and learn.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. And like the nascent beginnings of the internet and all of that, I never really got into that. Like some of the first
yeah,
social media things like MySpace, I was never on there. Like I just wasn't, I never, other people in my generation or my age did.
yeah,
But I didn't. So I just, yeah, that wasn't like my go-to move.
yeah,
So it wasn't really until like you talked about Dr. Barry and all of that and getting and watching all of that and going, oh,
it's when it really started to click. Yeah,
yes. Same
yeah,
thing about type 2 diabetes, which I never had, but my dad had, and I didn't really
hmm,
understand. Like, because
right,
that was after I had moved out of the house, and my mom was like, yeah, he has type 2 diabetes, but then, like, if he eats better, it'll kind of go away. And then he starts eating bad again, and then it comes back. And I didn't know what eating better or eating bad, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what she was really talking about. I would always confuse the difference, between type
yeah,
1 and type 2 because it just didn't none of that sank in as a
yeah,
thing that could have probably would happen to me or any of that or why that happened to people. um so getting involved with like actually learning about it and then the community, right? Or like things like what we're
hmm,
doing right now, from either
yeah,
end, either being on screen like this or being in the chat like some of our friends here. So
yeah,
we'll say hi to Lainey from Australia. Hello Lainey, welcome. And Less Junk, More Health. Hi, welcome.
yeah. And I didn't
Um,
even really understand the difference between type 1 and type 2 at first because my doctor's like, yeah, you've got type 2, so we're going to give you metformin and glucovance.
Mm.
and these other drugs. And I thought, well, that's going to help me. That's going to
Mhm.
be that's going to be my cure. When and she basically said, it's not there's no cure, and this will treat it and help you lose
Mm.
weight, and maybe it'll go away, and it never did. And
Right.
then I finally got to understand that type 2 and type 1 are actually opposites. You really shouldn't even call type 2 diabetes diabetes. I mean, sure, it's a sickness of getting too much blood sugar, but there's a different reason for it than with type 1.
Right.
So I like the term Dr. Berry uses with hyperinsulinemia
Mhm.
as a better word to describe type 2 diabetes because it is.
Yes.
So,
So at when I went to I mean it was our Christmas celebration. It didn't happen till New Year's. That's a long story, but whatever. With my mother and father-in-law, it was New Year's. And my mother-in-law would really benefit from this way of eating, and she's been just very resistant and like, but what's your cholesterol? And like all these questions that we
mhm,
get. And of course, me being a lean mass hyper responder, the answer to that question isn't going to make her feel any better.
mhm.
My LDL cholesterol is over 350. Want to jump on board? Like she doesn't understand lean mass hyper responder, lipid energy model, right? None of that.
Yeah,
But I'm doing the best to explain it. But and she's telling me how every single year, like her A1C is now to the point where she's like borderline type 2 diabetic. Like if it goes up one more tenth, she'll be
right.
type 2 diabetic, is what she was telling me. And so I was telling her about like the hyperinsulinemia thing and like the insulin resistance, which I know is a construct, but trying to explain it as best as I could. Like your insulin has been fighting this for probably 20 years. And your sugar kind of stayed normal until the last few years now,
Yeah,
where the insulin just cannot keep up. Trying to explain that,
your body
that
fought it as long as it can, and now
yes,
it's losing the battle.
now it's losing. Yep. So I mean, that
Yep.
was one of the many things. It was actually I was, because she was quite open-minded, where in the past she would just be like, it's not, she wasn't mean to me, but it was very clear like that all of that should stay over in my life, and she didn't want to hear about it because it was not healthy in her opinion. Um
Right.
I
Well,
think
when people ask about the high LDL,
mhm,
what you should tell them is, okay, well, this is what my triglycerides are, and this is
yes.
what my HDL is. And as
Yes.
long as those numbers are good, I mean, now they're saying the LDL number really doesn't matter.
Right. And I
I
led
mean,
with that. I said, here's my HDL and here's my triglyceride, and my ratio, your ratio needs to be under 2 and mine is 0.85. And she goes, "Oh,
yeah,
you're doing really well." And I said, "Yeah, I am."
yeah,
But it was a really good conversation that we had. She's a little more open-minded to it now. Um
yeah.
so I'm happy about that because it's something that she needs. Hi Lindy, nice to see you.
Hey, there's Limitless Lindy. All right.
Yeah, Lindy's gonna be at KetoCon. I can't wait to meet her in person. She's one of the reasons I'm going. I'm like, if Lindy can fly from Australia, then I can fly from California. Yeah, yeah,
That's
for sure.
awesome.
Okay, Brett, we have a question. So Deborah is saying, can y'all explain the grams of protein to your weight? Is it your ideal weight? Fat to protein? Confusing to me. Deborah, it is confusing. It was confusing to me too. And let me tell you what I'm currently doing, because I would say that it would be kind of individualized and personalized to some extent, but it was confusing to me too until I interviewed Coach Bronson. So, Deborah, if you haven't seen that interview, I recommend going and watching the replay, because he laid down a whole bunch of knowledge. But these were my takeaways, and this is currently what I'm doing. So he said, especially for women, and Deborah, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 48. Okay. And he was talking about especially women, and then especially as we are heading into like perimenopause and menopause, super important that we keep our muscle and build muscle where we can. And so protein is a key in that. So he said, as a starting point, this is by no means a finishing point, but as a starting point, to start with 1 gram of protein per lean body mass. The only exception to that would be if you're a woman and your lean body mass is like too close to 100 pounds, he doesn't want anybody going under 100 grams of protein. So mine is pretty close. So my lean body mass is pretty close to 100. So I talked to another woman friend of mine who's pretty much exactly my age. She's also doing some weightlifting, which I have started doing. So she shoots for 160 grams of protein. I'm not quite shooting for that high. If I hit between 120 and 140, I feel good with it, and then match the fat to that. So it's like if you're doing 120 grams of protein, 120 grams of fat. And then from there, you may have to tweak, right? Because it's individualized. I haven't tweaked it yet because he said, try anything you're going to try, give it 6 weeks. I will tell you right now, full disclosure, that I've done it for 2 weeks and I put on 3 pounds each week that I've done that. Is that easy? No, no, it isn't. But prior to tracking or prior to doing this, I was also just putting on weight, but very slowly. So I was like, I've got to do something. So I have started lifting heavy things. I am currently doing these macros. I'm committed to doing them for 6 weeks. I know for a fact that other carnivore women, when they really like try to get all the protein in there, they've gained weight first because their body's like, whoa, because we've been starving ourselves, or many of us, I know I have been starving ourselves for so long. So I'm trying to be patient. It's not easy to watch the scale go up that drastically. But I'm just trying to remind myself, like, this protein is good for me. The first couple days when I put in my food, I for sure was under 100 grams of protein, even though I was eating like a ribeye and things like that. I had to add in a little bit of salmon, which is not my favorite, just like the canned, but it's a good way to up your protein without upping your fat. Because I was for sure getting the right fat grams, but the protein grams were below 100. So I've added like a can of salmon, for an example, at lunch, because that gets me another 19 grams of protein and 1 gram of fat. It's not that I'm trying to go low fat. Like I said, my fat is 120, 130. But I don't need another ribeye. That's like, because that's going to add so much more fat, right? So my goal at this point was to add that protein in without adding too much more fat on, to try to hit that number that he talked about. So that is not the only way to do it, Deborah, but that's what Coach Bronson explained to me. He's an expert, and I thought the way that he explained it made sense to me, and I'm going to give it a shot. So that's what I've incorporated. And I do feel like, since I was not quite hitting that 100 grams of protein every day, because I wasn't tracking for a long time. I didn't track since keto. And when I was doing keto, I wasn't tracking for protein. I was tracking to keep my carbs, at 20 a day or less, if that makes sense. So hopefully that made some kind of sense. I am Coach Bronson. I am not a health expert, a doctor, nothing. I'm just relaying to you the information, that he told me and what I'm implementing. So how about you, Brett? Do you do any kind of tracking of that stuff, or you just eat?
I don't. I'm glad you had a good answer for that question, because
Okay.
I pretty much just try to make sure I'm 50-50 on my protein and fat. And I eat twice a day until I'm full. And I've heard that you want to take what your ideal body weight is, and that's what your grams should be in protein. But I can't imagine that I'm going under that, because I'm eating quite a bit. But I'm also, for the most part, I'm not losing a lot of weight. I'm not gaining any weight. So carnivore's been maintaining the weight that I've lost.
Okay.
Pretty well. So, I'm gradually losing, but it's slow. It's slow. And I don't want to undereat. I know I could eat less if I wanted to, but I don't think that's going to be sustainable. So I'm trying just to let my body I'm just trying to eat well and just heal. Because 10 months isn't enough to fix 40 years of bad eating.
Yeah. I mean, I still have several points on the, not that we should go by BMI, but I'm just saying before I hit the overweight category, I got like several points to go. So I'm trying not to stress out too much about the weight gain and just kind of let my body, do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
I know I'm not overeating based on what they're saying, but I just know that my body was undernourished for a long time and my metabolism probably has some fixing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard to think, you might need to gain 20 pounds before that'll come back off and before all of that will stabilize. But I know I don't want to go back to restricting. Like, that's not a place
Yeah.
I want to be. I don't like being hungry like all day, trying to wait for later. I'm like Brett, I eat 2 meals a day. If I
Yeah.
try to do OMAD, I'm just like starving for a lot of the time, until that one meal.
It sounds like what you're doing is priming.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
So we'll see, right now, like today I was hungry in the morning and I don't always eat 3 meals, but I drank some bone broth with a little bit of butter. And then I had lunch, which was 2 hard-boiled eggs and a can of salmon. And then I came home and had about a pound of ribeye, for dinner.
There you go.
So that's what I did today. And that's generally what I'll do. But plus or minus, like instead of the ribeye, I might do like some burger patties and eggs or, whatever I've got for that day. I can't afford ribeye, every day.
Yeah. And we know how to make bone broth. She's got a great bone broth recipe if anybody wants to make bone
and
broth.
thank you, Brett. Yeah, several people watched it just yesterday. I was like, oh, my bone broth video is coming back alive. It's very easy to do. I'm telling you right now, if I can do it, you can do it because I am not the DIY. I'm not the DIY girl. Not going to happen. I'm the just go to the store and buy it girl.
Well, I kind of followed what you did, and I made my own bone broth back before I started my 12-day fast.
Okay.
And I used it to break my fast, and it came out like jelly. I mean,
right?
It was fantastic.
See, look at him smiling. See, I did not steer you wrong, Brett. Oh, that makes me so happy because you're the first person I've talked to in person like this that used my my video. You just made my night.
Yeah. So, and all the bone broth I'd made before never came out jelly-like.
Okay.
And I must just not have had enough bones or didn't cook it long enough or something. But this time it was jelly.
Yeah, it's jelly. You can flip that jar over and like it just stays up there. It's great. So some people skim the fat off and use it like as tallow. Did you do that or did you do what I do, which is just heat it up, mix the fat in and drink it?
I took the kind of the fat cap off.
Okay.
And just put it in my jar with my other tallow.
Okay, awesome.
But I didn't take it all out. I left some in there.
Okay. Some jars will turn out thicker than others. Did you find that? Like the ones you pour off at the beginning have a pretty thick fat cap on there, and then the ones toward the end are a lot leaner. Right. I've noticed.
It's floating up. Hey, we got Robin, Carnivorous Grandma in here.
Yeah, we sure do. I'm going to put up quite a few more people popping in. So thank you for noticing that. So, and I've been talking, so I haven't been starring these people. I'm going to try to catch you guys. Well, Primal Timeline is here. I'm not sure when he said hello, but he's here. So hi. Juggling work and YouTube watching as usual. That's usually what I'm doing too, except when I'm live. I can't like do other stuff. But yes, that's usually what I'm doing. I feel that. And also saying, great to see Brett on Christy's channel. This is a first for us. I'm hoping Brett will host me next time. I want to go to the meat locker, Brett. I want that meat back there. I hope so.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send everybody the background.
Okay.
And then we'll both be in the meat locker together.
I love it. I need to be in the meat locker. Okay.
And it's real easy to add on in StreamYard. It's really easy.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've never done it, but I've seen it. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you.
She's the sweetest. She's great.
I love her.
I got to meet her in Chicago at the.
Oh, that's right. That's something I wanted to ask you about because I've seen a couple meetups. Like I saw that one, and then you mentioned I think another one more recently. So let's just say hello to Renee real quick. Hi, Renee.
Yes.
And can you tell me a little bit about that Chicago meetup? What your experience was with that, and then what I think I just kind of vaguely saw like a more recent one that you were talking about too.
Yeah, so I actually went to another meetup before that, and I here
Okay.
in Indiana, a local one, and met a bunch of people and um, exchanged information with a few, and then one lady contacted me, and we ended up. She lives up in Hammond, Indiana, which is just before you get to Chicago. So I
Okay.
actually stopped and picked up her up and took her to the meeting.
Nice.
So we both ended up going, and they had it there at a hotel near the airport, so it was real easy to find. And Dr. Tony Hampton came, um, and we all kind of got there before he did, because I guess he was doing some interviews or something
Mm.
in another area. But got to meet Carrie from Homestead Owl, got to meet Emma, got to meet one of his other daughters, um, and got to meet so many people, Robin, and a lot of some other YouTubers, the Carnivore Brothers. They were
Mhm.
both there. Um, and yeah, it was really great. And then Tony Hampton came in, and we all
Mhm.
like cheered and clapped for him, and he really appreciated that greeting. And then he basically talked to us for like he gave like a half-hour long speech and just
Wow.
talked about the community and what he does, and then we and he made his rounds and talked to everyone individually. He did some videos too. Carrie did some videos, took a lot of pictures. They had a great backdrop for the new movie
Mhm.
there, and we got pictures taken in front of that. And then when we were done there, we all went to Fogo de Chao, Brazilian steakhouse. It's like an
Yes.
all-you-can-eat uh, meat steakhouse, and there were 20 of us that went, and it was really great. I got to sit right across the table from Dr. Tony Hampton, so I got
Oh, that's awesome. So
yeah,
you could pick his brain.
I got a little one-on-one talk time with him. It was great.
So if you could see my picanha banner here, Elliot Nourishment Redacted made that for me because you said Fogo de Chao, and let me tell you, did
Yeah,
you? I have to ask, did you try my
yeah,
favorite meat, the picanha,
they
Brett?
did. They had it, and that's the only time I've ever had it.
Okay.
So,
So I've never been to Fogo de Chao. I've been to Texas de Brazil. And that was my favorite thing there. So like once I did try all the things, and then I was like, yeah, just bring me more picanha, please.
it was
So
it was funny when we got there because the wait staff started bringing up these things of bread and other stuff, and we're like, no, no, get that out of here. We don't want any of that. And they were all like really confused, and yeah, they're like,
yeah.
I'm supposed to give this to you, and you're telling me you don't want it. I don't know what to do. So
Oh, that is
it was funny.
funny.
So
That is funny. So, yeah, because I didn't go with a big group like you guys. It was my husband and myself. We went to Las Vegas for our 25th wedding anniversary back in June,
oh,
and I had just gone carnivore then. Like I said, I kind of like, or like I've told people, I kind of just accidentally went carnivore. But the reason I know that my carniversary is sometime in June is because that 25th anniversary trip was in June. And I
aha,
was for sure at that because I obviously remember that, right? So so I was for sure just eating like we did the Texas de Brazil, which is a Brazilian steakhouse, and
yeah,
I was eating ribeyes and chicken wings and no veg. So I know for sure it was sometime in June that I went full carnivore.
there you
And
go.
but yeah, that was my first time tasting picanha, and after that I had to go and like I make one every week. I make it on Saturday because I have the time to do it. It's easy, but the way I like to make it just takes a little time. And then that's my food for the weekend because yeah, it's delicious.
I can get it, but I have to order it from a butcher shop.
So Robin is kind of saying the same thing. She's getting picanha from Wild Fork Foods. Can't
Yeah,
wait. So I hope, Robin, that you will make a video about that because I want to see how you cook it. It's amazing. Primal Timeline, haha, love picanha. What a
yeah.
delicious cut. Yes, and not expensive. Well, I don't know. If you have to order it from a special place, maybe it is for you. But for me, it's 8.74 a pound.
Oh,
Regular. Like if it's not on sale, 8.74 a pound. So yeah, it's great. Mike is in the house. Hi, Mike.
hey, Mike.
Now, Mike, thank you for saying this because I wanted to ask about this. I agree, Mike. I was thinking, I haven't seen Brett in a bit. I mean, I've seen you on your videos, but I'm sitting here staring at you currently. You're right, Mike. He does look thinner after his fast.
Oh, appreciate
Can you
that.
can you tell us about this fast that you did in some detail? Like, why did you decide to fast? What was your goal? How long did you fast and why did that happen? And then
Yeah.
what was your experience? I mean, I know you have a video. Like he vlogged it, you guys, if you want to know the full details.
Yeah, I do. I have
But
daily videos that I made throughout it, and they're not real long ones if you wanted to
yeah.
go through and watch them. But I've been stuck at the same weight for several months, and I wanted something to kickstart it. I wanted to get the holidays behind me, and then I thought, well, if, everybody's starting some new kick on the first. That's when people start doing these things. So I'm like, I'll do another fast. And my previous fast, the longest one I'd done was 8 days.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'll do 9 days. We'll extend it out one. So I started out doing that, and the 2 weeks before I started priming. I started eating 3 times a day when I could. There were a few days where I couldn't, but and I actually had put on a couple pounds in those couple of days, and those couple of weeks beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I had my last meal on New Year's Eve for dinner, had lamb chops and shrimp, which was delicious. And after that, it was just water and coffee, electrolytes. The first day of any fast for me is always easy because I intermittent fast.
Okay.
So it's the first day is pretty much like any other day. I didn't even really think about it. And then that first night you go to bed, you notice it's like you haven't eaten all day and you go to bed without eating. But again, it wasn't bad. I'd done it many times before. And then the second day started getting hungry. Um, and it wasn't, I felt like I was getting a little more hungrier than I usually do. And
Mm.
I don't know if it was because of the priming and my body got used to getting more food than it was accustomed to in the past.
Yeah.
But on the third day, I had a couple waves of hunger pain that almost made me quit.
Mm.
It was so bad. The first one, I was on the highway driving to my next job, and I had to pull the car over in 70-mile-an-hour traffic and get out because I
Mm.
thought I was going to get sick in the car. I just, I got this sudden wave of nausea, and I'm like, my mouth started watering, and I'm like, something's going to happen. So I got out of the car and just breathed the cool air on the side of the road for a few minutes, and it went away, and then it was fine. And then a couple hours later, it hit me again, and that's when I did some salt and I drank some water, and then and I'm like, I'm just going to stick it out. I'm going to see what happens. If this keeps happening, I'm probably just going to have to hang it up because my
Mm-hmm.
body's telling me we don't like this. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't the right time. This is bad. So I gave it one more day. And then day 4, it was like 50% less.
Okay.
And then day 5, it was 90% less. And then I'm like, okay, I got this now. And basically, I did the fast because I wanted to get over that hump. I wanted to get past this kind of weight loss stall. And
Mm.
and really, I mean, it was a stall, but I don't really mind because I'd already lost 60 pounds from my heaviest.
Mm.
So I
Okay.
kind of considered that like 3-month period to be a reorganization of what's normal for Brett. This
Mm-hmm.
is this weight is now my new normal, not 298. You
Right.
know, that was the old. This 240 weight is my new. This is the new normal, and I think
Right.
I kind of established that. So, and I kind of look at it as it being, do I want to keep losing weight? Sure, but am I in a hurry? No, not really. I'm not in a hurry.
Mm.
So So anyway, we get through day 5 and then day 6, and it's like a switch flipped. Not hungry,
Mm.
not hungry at all. Going good. Day 7, day 8, day 9 came. I'm feeling great. I'm sleeping pretty well. Energy level is there. Just brain just sharp as I just feel sharp as a tack. And I'm like, I'm going to keep this going. I mean, I'm at 9 days. I'm feeling great.
Mhm.
Why stop? I'm losing weight. I'm losing anywhere from a pound to 2 pounds a day on average. And I think by day 9, I think I was down 17 pounds. 16, I have to go back and look, but 16,
Wow.
17 pounds.
Okay.
Um, so I'm like, well, and it turned out to be, I think that ninth day turned out to be a Tuesday. And I'm like, I'm going to be home all weekend. We don't have anything going on this weekend. So I think I'm going to extend this out till Friday. We're going to go 12 days, and I'll break the fast when I'm at home. I'm on my home turf. And if I
Mm.
have any digestive issues or sickness or anything, I'll be home and it'll be fine. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be on the road working. I'm not going to be, in other places. So that was the change of plan, and went to 12 days, and everything was great until day 11.
Okay.
Day 11, I call my oopsie. I'd been like doing a little bit of like some curls with my weights and just a
Mhm.
little bit of walking because it's too cold to walk outside. So I've been walking on the treadmill, maybe like a mile and a half, just
Okay.
just to get the blood pumping, just something leisurely active because
Mhm.
I don't want to push it too hard, while I'm fasted that long. I know some people can, but I'm not able to. And for some reason, I decided it would be a good idea to do a little jogging on the treadmill. So
Uh-oh.
I turned it up and I jogged for maybe, I don't know, a half a mile, and then I slowed it back down.
Mhm.
And then I went a couple minutes and then I turned it back up and I jogged for like another half mile, and I got kind of winded. And I'm like, okay, well, that's enough. And then about 20 minutes later, I'm upstairs in the kitchen, and whew, the color runs
Oh.
right out of my face. I start getting cold sweats.
Mhm.
I'm like, uh-oh, my blood sugar is crashing right now. I started
Mhm.
feeling dizzy, and I'm like, I'm standing up and I'm like leaning against the counter, and I'm like, and I can just feel it. Like
Mhm.
I can just feel something just draining out of me. And I'm like, I went to the refrigerator, and the kids had this Gatorade, this small bottle of Gatorade that had been in there for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And I'm like, and it was a regular full sugar Gatorade. And I'm like, give me that. And I took a few swigs of it, and I went and sat down at the kitchen table. And then I told my wife, I said, go get my blood sugar meter. I want to check my blood sugar. By
Mhm.
the time she came back with it and I checked it, it was already back to 80, like 80, 85.
Okay.
And I was feeling better. It was just, it, it came right back. Um, and my wife was like, yeah, you should quit now while you're ahead. So I went ahead and stuck it out on the other day and went to the 12 days I said I was going to. And I felt fine on the 12th day. Um, but yeah, it was time to break it. And honestly, if that hadn't happened to me on the treadmill, I think I could have even gone longer than 12.
Mm. That's
Maybe
amazing.
that,
Yeah, because you were doing great until you just crashed your crashed your blood sugar by overexerting.
yes. And
Yeah.
and I'm trying to find out why it happened. And I was on a live with Dr. Kiltz. I
Oh, okay.
wasn't in the live, I was in the chat. And I
Mhm.
posted a question and he answered it. And he thought maybe it had something to do with sugar addiction or something, which wasn't the case. But I was hoping maybe he could give me an answer, but I didn't get to really specify what the problem was. But
Mm.
I think it was
Yeah,
just,
that's the thing about chat where you're limited to what is it, 250 characters or something, and yeah,
yeah,
it's
and I didn't
really
want to
hard.
write a novel. So
Uh-huh.
um, I think it was just maybe, my insulin sensitivity just isn't there yet. I'm like, my type 2 diabetes is pretty much gone, but I think I still have a lot of healing to do because I know
Mm.
there's people out there that can fast and run marathons and their blood sugar doesn't crash. But for some
Yeah,
reason, mine can. So
right.
I have to figure out what that is
Well,
and
it's
be
only been
conscious.
10 months, to your point. It's only been 10 months. So
Yeah,
maybe you just need more time.
yeah. And I've
Um,
done several smaller fasts before.
mhm,
2 day, 3 day, 5 day.
mhm.
I've done several, but never that long. So it was a learning experience for sure. Lessons were learned.
Yeah, I did a 2-day fast. It did not go well. Like, I did it,
Yeah,
but only because I promised Robin I would. Like, only because I promised Robin I would, really. I'm like, I don't know exactly what went wrong, but I think it had to do with so I was like you, where I was still going to have coffee, but I was going to drink it black. Well, that was just gross. I didn't want to drink it black. So I didn't
yeah,
drink very much coffee. And then I started getting a little caffeine headache. And then I wasn't eating. And then the headache got worse. And then I got nauseous from the headache and the not eating. And then it
yeah,
was like day one, just the first 24 hours was just miserable. And I didn't
yeah.
even want to take anything for the headache because I usually don't. And B, it was on an empty stomach. So I certainly didn't want to go put an ibuprofen or something in there. So
Caffeinated tea probably would have done the trick.
yeah, it was not pretty. Day two was better than day one. I went live with Mike Shaw TV on day two.
Yeah,
And I was a little more functional. Fortunately, it was before I had gone back to work. After the Christmas holiday, we had another week off. If I had been
yeah,
working, there would have been no way I would have eaten. Like I could
yeah.
not have done it because I was just at my house. I was just like putting up with the misery, but it was bad. I don't know if I have never had a fast go well. Every time I've tried to fast longer than like an OMAD, like a 24
Hmm.
hour, like if I try to do 36 or 48, yeah, no.
Hmm.
I don't, and this time I even did some priming. Like I don't remember 3 or 4 days where I ate like 3 full meals,
Yeah,
ahead of time. And my body just doesn't, I don't think it's ready. I don't know.
yeah. You might have to break that caffeine addiction before you
Hmm.
try it again.
Yeah. Yeah. That
That's
could very well
creating an
be.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike would like to know, Brett, if you've spoken to Michael, that he's on a 15-day fast and counting.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got him on my list of people I wanted to talk to. But yeah, I was wondering about him and if he was still going with it.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for a few days, but it sounds like Mike is confirming that he is. So that's just wow,
15 days. That's
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
I know according to Dr. Jason Fung and his fasting group,
Mhm.
2 week to 30-day fasts are pretty common for them
Hmm.
that they
Wow.
do. But 30 days, that's, I don't know.
That's a long
But,
time. Renee, I'm a little bit
oh,
jealous. Renee says her local store is having a 1-day meat sale. Bacon, $1.99 a pound. Okay, I tied that. I did just get 10 pounds. I bought 10 pounds. 10 pounds of bacon. It was because the bacon was $1.99 a pound. But ground beef, $1.99 a pound too. That is awesome.
that
That is
keeps a long
awesome.
time. You can freeze that and have it a long time.
Yeah. So she said that she's getting 100 pounds of bacon and 50 pounds of ground beef to mix with mine because it doesn't have enough fat for me. I love that. My freezer, I would have bought more bacon when it was $1.99 a pound. It was last grocery sales week, but my freezer was full of the $7.99 ribeyes that I had gotten. So I didn't have room for more than 10 pounds of bacon. So, but I was happy. I was happy with the 10 pounds. That was pretty awesome. And not only that, but her grandson works there, so her order will be waiting for her. I love it.
Ah,
I love it. Jay is not wrong. So when I went to go live, I saw all these other people were live too. There are, I'm sure, so many good live streams tonight. So I want to thank each and every one of you that are hanging here with Brett and I, even if you're like Jay and you're popping in and out, like I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, especially on Thursdays, go live. So, okay, here we go. So Lindy is saying Michael is at 18 days as of now and still going. Just wow.
Well, I hope
And
he
she,
continues feeling well. And if he's at 18 days, then he's managing his fast very well.
yeah, she's saying he's still feeling good. So we'll continue until the weight loss stops or if he starts to feel off.
Yeah.
And that he is being coached. Yes, he has those steak and butter gang, coaches. So yes, he's in good hands there for sure. Yeah, my son is freaking out because he heard me say 18-day fast. He goes, 18-day fast? Is that what you just said? Yes, Zach, that's what I just said. It is pretty crazy.
You know what the
Awesome.
longest fast is?
40 something? I don't know the record. What is it?
384 days.
Oh, Dr. Barry, I think maybe was talking about that. Was it Dr. Barry said that in one of his?
Dr. Fung talks about it.
Oh,
and I think
Dr.
maybe
Fung.
Dr.
Okay.
Barry's mentioned it before too.
Yeah.
It took, I think it was back in the 60s or 70s, and it was someone in the UK, and he went from 450 pounds to like 180 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I did hear about that. I had forgotten about that one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yes, Renee. Todd went a long time fasting too. You're right. They all kind of did. Lindy, Todd, and Michael all kind of did a fast at the same time as Brett did. The starting on the 1st or 2nd of January. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more, Brett, about your medication. So you said, because my question was going to be originally, because you said you had type 2 diabetes. And then you mentioned later, like some of the medications you were on, and you mentioned 2 of them, but you also said you had high blood pressure. Like, were you on any other medications, and are you currently on any?
For a while, I was on a high blood pressure medication while I was taking the type 2 diabetes medications. Okay. And now I'm not on anything at all now.
Wow.
I don't even take vitamins. Although I've been thinking about taking some vitamin D and see if that improves anything or helps me out.
Yeah, I've been taking iodine and then trying to take vitamin D. I've been pretty good about remembering my iodine and the vitamin D for some reason. I did take some today. I remembered.
Like Dr. Chafee says, if you eat the right foods, you shouldn't need to take any supplements.
Yeah. I know that when I had my blood work done, my vitamin D was low. So I thought maybe I need to start supplementing, especially because that happened right as we're heading into winter. And I'm not, even though I'm in Southern California, like I just don't have, there's just not a lot of opportunity to be out in the sun between being in my classroom and being here on live streams and stuff like that. So, I've just been trying to supplement until summer. I'm going to make a concerted effort. We teachers do have summers off for a couple of months at least. And so I can get out there at that time, hopefully. So Robin is saying, congratulations, Brett, on getting off meds. I take vitamin D, collagen, and iodine.
Yep. I don't take any collagen. I just drink bone broth. And that's the best source of collagen you could possibly ask for.
Yeah. And it tastes so good. I want to start doing some things like I've seen people doing like kind of like egg drop soup in the bone broth and getting creative with that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's on my carnivore to-do list.
Make some chicken bone broth and make egg drop soup.
Yeah, that sounds good. I should have saved those chicken bones from yesterday. I had the best chicken yesterday. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was like a version of heart attack chicken because I took the chicken thighs and I took the bacon fat and I slathered those things in bacon fat. And then I got a new air fryer as a gift from my in-laws for Christmas. And I air fried those suckers. Oh my gosh, the skin was all crispy. Like the intention was, here was the intention. It was 2 pounds of chicken thighs with bones in them. I mean, there was bones in there. I don't know how much of that is bone, but it was 2 pounds of chicken, including the bones, right? Yeah. My intention was to save a couple of those chicken thighs so my husband would have dinner when he came home from work. That didn't happen. I ate all the chicken. Shh, don't tell him. He didn't know I was making them in the first place. So what he doesn't know
I'm
won't
writing
hurt
this
him.
down.
Won't hurt
Bacon
him.
grease coated chicken thighs.
Yeah. Yes. It was okay. So I used a lot. So I fried them. I did the heart attack chicken, the full. I saved my bacon fat for like weeks till that thing was full. And that chicken was good, but I don't think I had the temperature hot enough. So if I do that again, I'm gonna make the grease a little hotter. I think they'll turn out better. But this was like the skin got, I mean, it was crunchy. Like the skin was completely crispy,
Nice.
super delicious. And I just took like I have a little silicone, it's like a brush, but it's made of like silicone. And I just scooped out some bacon grease, took that brush and just I mean, it was slathered on there. So it was a good coating of that bacon grease. Threw it in
I
the
know.
air fryer. I recorded it. It's not going to be a long form video. It's going to be a short. I need to remember. I think it was like 380 degrees for like, I can't remember the minutes. I think it was like 25 minutes, and I started it skin side down, and at the end flipped it over so the skin was up for the last half.
Might try switching to broil like the last couple minutes and to
Yeah.
crisp the skin up. I don't know.
Yeah. If you had a regular oven, that would work. I got this new air fryer. It's like a 12. It's not even just an air fryer. Like it does a bunch of stuff. Dehydrator. It's like a 12-in-1. It's all metal parts, no plastic. It was expensive, but it was a gift. So it was a very nice gift. Anyways, I use the air fryer function because I'm getting used to that. But yeah, super good. But yes, I think especially if you have a convection oven or even just a regular oven, and you're right, pop it under that broiler for the last like 3-4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really good. Okay, we got a couple of questions. I had this question too, Renee. So people when they fast, and you lose weight, but then usually people will gain, some of that weight. That's to be expected. But we're curious, Brett, how much of that weight have you gained back?
Well, the first day I gained 1 pound back.
Okay.
The second day I gained 3 pounds back. And then the third day I gained another, between the third and fourth day, I gained like a total of 6 pounds back. And I've been holding steady around there.
Okay.
So I usually on fasts, I'll usually gain 25% of whatever I lose back.
Okay.
It may, and that may end up being my new normal. I don't know. I'm not post fast long enough to know what my new normal is going to be, but I think that's pretty much going to be it.
So that'll be interesting.
I lost 20.7 pounds.
Okay.
In the fast, and I know some of it's water weight because I was feeling, the flat part of your shin, how you can press on it.
Yes.
To see if you're holding some water.
Yes.
Well, during the fast, I mean, you could press on it and you didn't leave the slightest dent in my leg during the fast.
Okay.
But now I'm leaving a little bit of a dent. So I'm holding some water for some reason. So I know some of that is water weight.
Okay.
That's
I'll be interested to check in with you periodically and see how that goes. I know Dr. Boz talks about kind of what you're saying, where it's like she prefers that her, the people that she's working with, you lose weight quickly and then you hold it. Like you hold that steady, kind of like what you're talking about, your new normal. Hold that steady. Yeah, like reset that and then lose, kind of like what you're doing with your fasting. You lose weight quickly. She's not about the like, oh, lose a half pound here, a pound there, slow and steady, whatever. She's like, she says it's not true that if you drop weight quickly that you're just going to like gain it all back, that you drop it and then you attempt to hold at that new normal for a while and then drop it again. So I've heard her say that, multiple times. So I find that interesting. That's not something I've ever done or been able to do, but yes, it's called a set point. Yes.
Set point.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, question for me from Twin Maples. So Anaheim is just over the hill from me, just down the 91 freeway from me, about an hour, about a little over well, if it's a 91 freeway, let's get real, it's about 2.5 hours. But if there were no other cars on the road, it would be about an hour. I'm a little further inland. So I'm about halfway between San Diego and Los Angeles. The biggest, closest town or city, if you want to call it, is Temecula. A lot of people know where Temecula is if they're from California, because it's famous for like having a wine country and hot air balloons and stuff like that. So I'm a little bit north of Temecula, and if you know where Riverside is, I'm a little bit south of there. So,
You're in
but
kind of the
yes,
area with just a lot of rolling hills and that part of
yes.
California.
Yeah, rolling hills, but they're dry. They're not like
Yeah,
the green rolling hills, like more in the central part of the state. It's dry here. We're like almost a desert where I live. It's not quite a desert,
yeah,
but
semi-arid.
almost. Yeah,
Yeah.
arid for sure. Yep. So yeah, we don't get snow. We get our temperatures are not. Somebody was surprised because I said it was like 32 degrees and they're like, "Really? In Southern California?" I'm like, "Yeah, cuz I'm not by the ocean." So,
Wow.
we're inland, so in the summer it gets well over 100 on a lot of days.
Hmm.
And then in the winter it does drop down sometimes into the 20s. That's rare, but like overnight, you know. A lot of mornings we wake up to like white roofs and stuff like that. Nothing like what most of you guys have, the negative whatevers. No snow. We can look at the snow on the mountains about an hour that way if I want to go
Yeah,
to the snow. I don't. But if I did, I could be there in an hour, you know.
there you
Um,
go.
or go the other way and be at the beach. So it's not bad. It's really not bad. So that's where I am, Twin Maples. Susan is here. Hi, Susan.
Hey, Susan.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, Twin Maple said we spent some honeymoon time in Temecula. I'd be interested to hear what resort you stayed at. My husband worked at South Coast Winery for a while when our kids were very little, and he worked like the overnight shift at the hotel there. So that'd be interesting. That'd be funny if you stayed there. It was a nice place. Okay, question for you, Brett. Are you planning to do some portion control after your fast? This should help control things so you don't gain back what you lost.
Yeah. So, by the way, I love the name Bullet Sponge. That's all. That's awesome. Um, Portion control. I generally just kind of follow the rules that Dr. Barry's always told us to just eat until you're comfortably full. And that's the nice thing about the carnivore diet is we have a natural, meat has a natural satiety mechanism built in it.
Mhm.
You know, if this was the Doritos diet, you could way overeat
Mhm.
Doritos and not be able to portion control. But fortunately, when you're eating meat, eggs and beef and lamb, when you've had enough when you go to take that bite and it's just like, I just can't. I'm done. And something in your mind switches. I'm done. And you sit your fork down and that's it. You know, and it's over. And I've actually experienced that myself. And for the first time, I saw it in my wife. I made a steak for her, a big
Mhm.
New York strip from Costco, and she hadn't eaten all day. And I like to try to get her to eat as much meat as I can because she's a major sugar addict. So I'm always, friendly, trying to just
Here, have a
encourage them.
steak, and then I'll even cook it for
Yeah,
you. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, if my
do
husband
it.
made me a steak, I think my head would explode.
Have this,
That
and
never
she got,
happens. I'd be
and
so
this was
happy.
probably easily a 16 to 18 ounce New York strip. It was a big steak.
Yeah. Nice.
And she got like 80% of the way through it. And she's like, I'm done. I can't eat anymore. She's
Mm.
like, I feel like I could eat more, but I don't want more. And I'm like,
Mm.
bam, there it
There it
is.
is. There's the shut-off valve.
There's the natural satiety signal that your body's sending you saying you're good.
Yeah.
And as long as you pay attention to that and you don't push past it and force yourself to eat more, um, then yeah, you won't have to really worry about portion controlling. So, and that's the nice thing about this way of eating. You don't want to overeat. I don't for
Mhm.
the first time of eating all the different foods out there that I don't want to overeat these things. It's it's nice. It's it's like we're
Yeah.
supposed to eat it or something.
Or something.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
it's
mean, I
part of
ate
the
my
human
pound
diet.
of ribeye. It wasn't for a ribeye, the pound of ribeye that I ate for dinner, it wasn't particularly fatty. I felt like I wanted a little more fat, so I went and grabbed a bite butter. I love a good bite butter. So I went and grabbed about a tablespoon of butter, ate that, and then it was like, all right, I'm good. Like I'm not overly stuffed. I'm
Yeah,
comfortably full.
you're satiated.
Um, yeah, and I don't want anything else. I'm not craving for anything sweet. I definitely don't want any more steak or butter right now. Maybe a little water would be good because I've been talking for an hour, but otherwise I'm good. And yeah, I won't want anything else to eat this evening. And then I'll just, tomorrow we'll see how it goes. So
Yeah.
well, I wanted to, gosh darn it, I lost it because I didn't star it. So RV there yet, always good. I love RV there yet because when I make my cooking videos, they always have really awesome like suggestions and things that they do and things to say about it. So this is for Karen because Karen said she has a picanha and I didn't put it up when she said it. Has the picanha, but hasn't cooked it yet and wanted to research it. So here's one idea. My favorite way to cook picanha is at 510 degrees in an air fryer, about 10 minutes based on the size. I'm thinking that those must be picanha steaks. Let me know, are we there yet? I don't cut mine into steaks or buy them as steaks. I buy it as a roast and I prefer it that way. Well, I mean, I don't know if I prefer it that way, but that's the way I enjoy it that way. And so therefore I never cut it into steaks because I know I'm gonna enjoy it roast as a roast.
And it must have a pretty thick fat cap on it to cook it at 510. Uh,
Yes. The ones I buy are and they're trimmed like I just get them at Walmart and they're trimmed usually to anywhere between a quarter and a half an inch fat cap. So
ooh,
generally it's a nice thick fat cap
yeah.
on that picanha. If you can order it from your butcher counter, which is I have a carnivore to-do list longer than my arm and I check one thing off and then I get something else or two more. So I feel like it never gets any shorter, like things I want to try. My mom was able to order picanha from the butcher counter and then they kind of told her that it was like standard to trim it to a quarter of an inch, but they could customize it. And she said, oh yeah, just don't trim it, please. And so
Yeah.
then she sent me a picture of that picanha. And then I was like, wow, because that was even thicker fat cap than the ones that I've been getting. So I want to try that because we live about an hour apart. So I have the same grocery store. I want to go to that butcher counter and ask about picanha there and see. So anyway, RV Theria is saying I've never seen it whole. Fat cap is nearly an inch, Brett, at the military base
Ooh.
commissary. Okay, that's a good tip if anybody is able to shop at the military base commissary. Look there.
Hmm.
I've never seen it cut as steaks, but I've heard they do exist. you know.
Yeah. I mean, one way to maybe get it is if you buy a whole sirloin portion, because the
Mhm.
picanha is part of the sirloin.
Yes.
And if you were able to buy like that whole chunk
Yes.
fresh off the cow, untrimmed, you might be able to get
Mhm.
it that way. But
So when I get my grass-fed beef, grass-fed cow, which I did email, we were having a conversation last night. Kevin and I were having a conversation last night, and he wanted to get into the whole like regenerative farming thing, which is awesome. So we talked about that, and I was talking about my grass-fed cow, and I was like, man, that was like 2-3 months ago that I put money down for this cow that's not going to be available till April or May. I should probably email them and see if there's like an actual date. And so I did send that email this morning and have not gotten a response
hmm.
um, as of yet. But anyway, I have a deposit down and I'm very excited. I am sharing that half a cow with my mom and brother. I don't think my brother could really care less about the picanha, but I'm gonna have to arm wrestle my mom for it.
So you're getting a whole side.
I am.
Wow.
Yeah. But I don't have the space for a whole half cow myself. So we're sharing it. My mom hardly has space, so technically we would each get a sixth of a cow, but like my mom can't even fit that much. So my mom's
Oh,
going to take whatever she can fit and then my brother and I are taking the lion's share or in my case the lioness share.
I've been thinking about making the room in the garage. We have a stand-up freezer out there, but I've been thinking about getting another one just for my meat stuff.
Ooh, get a
Mhm.
stand-up one. So I didn't know those existed. My husband got this chest one. It is the best purchase we've ever made for sure. But when I saw the stand-up ones with like the drawers, I was like, no, that is awesome. Because
Yeah.
then you could have everything, like a place for everything, and it could be all organized. Like I could have a whole picanha drawer. I'd be so happy. Right now, it's just the big chest, right? So everything's just kind of thrown in there, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's like tripled my storage for sure. So
Mhm.
I can get all the ribeyes when they're on sale. I will have room for, I don't know what fraction it is, somewhere between a sixth and a and a half beef.
Yep.
I'm excited for that. But yeah, I would do it if I were you, Brett. And I don't know if our garage has room for anything else. We just have a two-car garage. I do miss my treadmill. You were talking about your treadmill. We got rid of our treadmill because we wanted to fit the car in the garage, go figure. Our
Oh,
house is small, and so we did have some space out there for like a treadmill and stuff, and it still worked and everything, but yeah, we got some, like, I got a new car a couple of years ago, and I wanted to be able to park it in the garage, so something
sure.
had to go. So it was the treadmill. We 86'd it, but I do miss it. Like when it's real hot or real cold, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to have as a backup.
Mhm. Um, so RV there is saying our favorite cut next to strip steak. Yes, picanha steaks are also sold as sirloin cap or coulette steak. We're in a
Mhm.
small RV, so no whole sirloin for
The
us.
whole primal. Yeah.
Primal, yeah, can't do it. Yeah, that's true. They just have a small amount of storage in there. This is awesome. A 20 cubic foot stand up freezer. Yeah, I'm a little jealous. I don't know how many cubic feet my chest freezer is, but it's not 20. I didn't buy it. It was a gift. My husband got it for me, as a gift a couple of years ago. And yeah, it was a really good gift. That was before I even went carnivore, and I liked it back then. I like it even more now.
Yeah, right now I have to share freezer space with tater tots and,
Mhm.
you
I
know,
hear you.
Hawaiian king rolls and, other
Yep.
stuff,
Yep.
waffles and,
I know. I
and
just want to go, "Meh, get out of there. Get away from my
yeah,
ribeyes. Just
I want my
go."
own meat space. So,
Yes. As if it's gonna contaminate it somehow. That's
right.
what's funny, Brett, but I'm right on the same page with you. I'm like, I gotta have, like, yeah, my ribeyes are right next to the frozen pizza, and I'm not happy about it.
Right.
So it's you and your wife is still just standard American diet. Is that right? Is that correct?
Yeah, she started, I don't know if you've ever seen the TV commercials for Golo.
Yes, I have seen those.
She did. She bought like into that program last summer, and she started taking their little magic pills, whatever they do in your body that's magical, to
Uh-huh.
help you lose weight. But
Right.
it's basically about eating cleaner.
Mhm.
And, I said, go ahead because she's doing something to take control of her own diet,
Mhm.
whatever it is. I just wanted to be supportive of that. So, she doesn't want me to be her like health coach or anything. So, you know, and I get that.
Yeah.
But so she did that and she did pretty good with that. And then, holidays rolled around and and now she's thinking about ordering it again. And I've been trying to convince her to just try just keto
Mhm.
because Golo is pretty much keto, but with some fruit.
Okay.
And they try to allow you to have like a little bit of rice or quinoa or, very small portions of carbs. Um, but, it's basically just about trying to eat cleaner. And they said not to eat vegetable oils and things like that. So I'm like, go for it, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but now I've been trying. I said, just try keto. It's free. You don't have to take anybody's supplement. There's
Right.
nothing you got to buy into. You just got to just buy the right food and eat the right food. That's, there's no magic trick.
Right.
You know, you feed your body the right thing and you're going to get results. So,
Yeah.
so I've been trying
Well,
to encourage her to do that, but we'll see what she does.
Yeah, my husband said he was gonna do more low carb and yeah, that no, none of that has happened. I ate fast food for dinner last night. So, and I know
Yeah.
because I saw the evidence in the trash this morning. I hope he makes a change. We'll see. My kids, I'm gonna do a whole live stream on, I think it's on the 25th, we decided with my friend Cami over at Last Day of Normal, because she has, I mean, her daughter isn't as old as my sons, but she has a 10-year-old daughter, and I have a 15 and 18-year-old sons. And
Okay.
it's not like when you have a 2-year-old. You know, you're not in
Right.
control of all their food. It's not the same. It's not just here's your food in your high chair. It's not
Right.
like that. And so they have agency when they're that age. So we're going to talk. That's like what the whole live stream is going to be about, is like our attempts and what we're doing and what has succeeded, and our efforts, you know, in that realm. When you have a kid that's used to eating standard American, whatever.
Yeah. I have a
Yeah.
12-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl,
Okay.
and they've grown up on the standard American diet.
Yep.
And I've been trying to, encourage them in the right way, and trying to encourage like my daughter to have some kind of meat with every meal, because she's
Mm-hmm.
the kind that'll just like make a box of mac and cheese and have that for dinner,
Yep.
or have spaghetti, or have some other thing that has no meat in it at all, no veg,
Yep.
no nothing. And I've been trying to encourage her to have meat with every time she eats, to have something meat, to at
Mm-hmm.
least start, get things started in the right direction.
Yeah. That's awesome. And how's that going? Like,
Uh,
are they
she's
picking that up a little bit?
uh, mildly receptive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's an uphill battle, but I give her space, and you know, give her the information, and you know, maybe it'll take hold one day.
Yeah. One day. That's kind of what I'm hoping to for my kids. Mike, this was cracking me up. So he's talking about the 20 cubic feet is almost 7 Minecraft blocks. Mike, I have never played Minecraft in my life, but I swear to you that I referenced it in my classroom today. So we were doing science where the students they turned themselves into Earth. They made this like map and they wore it like a kind of like overalls, like a bib. And they were the Earth. And rather than, because this science thing, I'm supposed to like print off these circles and color them yellow. I'm like, we're not coloring yellow circles. This is in kindergarten, ladies and gentlemen. Here is your yellow sticky note, which is your son. Pretend like you're in Minecraft because your son is a square. And they were laughing and whatever. And oh, puppy, distractification. Look
Yeah,
how cute.
this is Cricket.
Aw. Hi, Cricket.
She's 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Does Cricket eat a proper puppy diet, or has Cricket been on kibble for
she
Cricket's whole life?
yeah, she's pretty much eaten a standard doggy diet for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm working on getting them over to. We have them on a higher quality
Okay.
kibble,
Yeah.
and then they get like a meat mixed in with that, and I try to give them some eggs and stuff every now and then.
Yeah,
So,
100%. I mean, I know raw is best and all of that. I definitely switched my cat over, but I can't do raw. I mean, unless I bought it raw. Like I said, I'm not the DIY girl. So these people with their meat grinders and the chicken thighs and grinding them up, like that's not happening. Too
right.
much A, work, and B, cleanup. Like it's not. I'm not going to do that. But I have switched her over to a much cleaner cat food that just basically has 2 ingredients, and none of those ingredients are vegetables. She has way more energy. Like I think it's a happy medium for what I can do and what's good for her and what she
Right.
likes and all of that. So, yeah. Um, so Susan was just about to ask me how her husband and kids eat. So that will be interesting. I want to transition my 13-year-old granddaughter to go low carb keto, too many carbs and sad right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
Susan, I'm gonna talk. I mean, we've already been going for an hour and 20 minutes. And also I don't want to, I promised Cami that this would be our topic of discussion on the 25th. I believe so. If you go to my live tab, you'll see, but I'm pretty sure it's January 25th at 5 p.m. Pacific. And Cami and I are going to talk all about that. So, especially if you have like Susan, a granddaughter or like Brett, kids that are older, where you're not just able to just, here's your plate of food, because they are older and it is going to take more time than that. Join us and I would love to hear your tips. Like that was awesome. What Brett shares, what he's been doing, because it is an uphill battle. It's not a flip of a switch by any means, because they're not choosing to do it the way that I chose to do it right there. It's not their choice. It's got to be a little bit more organic than that, a little bit more, some give and take with that, and more of a slow change, unless they choose to do it. Like I know some kids, some teenagers, they choose to flip that switch. Mine have not chosen to do that. So I have to approach it different.
But something that they all have that we didn't is the knowledge that carnivore and the proper human diet exists.
Yes.
And
yes,
they'll be armed with that going forward. So hopefully they won't have to get sick or type 2 diabetes one day in order to say, my dad was right. My mom was right.
Yeah.
I need to do this.
Yeah. Or when things start to go a little wrong, like when their metabolism starts to switch and slow down and they start to put on a little weight, like when that process begins, maybe like when that process began for me, I didn't know it was the sugar. I didn't know any of that. It took me until February of 2023, to learn that, at which time I was 47 years old. That was like too long. So you're right, Brett, 100%. Like our kids will at least be armed with the knowledge, and then hopefully we'll be able to,
they'll know it's an option.
Yeah. And then hopefully be able to make that change. Renee says, I paid my grandson to do carnivore for 40 days and now he's probably 95%. Or in my classroom, that is known as Lightning McQueen %. I never say the number 95. I say Lightning McQueen in my classroom. in case people didn't know that. Because Lightning McQueen's number is 95, in the movie Cars. Lightning McQueen. Yeah. So I teach 5th graders, they're 10. So if the number 95 ever comes up, I say Lightning McQueen. I'd never say 95. So I almost said it without explaining it. Now he's probably Lightning McQueen %. And everybody would have been like, what are you talking about?
That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Pay your grandson to do carnivore. I may have to offer that to my daughter. See what it'll cost me.
See if she takes you up on it. Leah, let me know if it works. Let me know if you try it. If she takes you up on it.
We'll see. It's a good idea though.
Hey, it worked for Renee. Well, you know what? It's been almost an hour and a half. So I'm going to respect your time here, Brett. I can't wait to be invited to the meat locker. So let me know, send me an invite and we'll talk again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. If you haven't subbed to Brett's channel, I had it up a little while ago. See if I can find it again. There it is. If you have, I think everyone here maybe has, because it's like most of my people that kind of already know us. But if you haven't subbed to Brett, go give him a sub right now. He has a great channel.
Yeah.
And other than that,
I appreciate all the people who subscribe and like and comment, on the videos. And, if you want to help me out, that's the best way to do it. Want to get up to 1,000 subs and get my watch time up.
Mm-hmm.
So, watching my videos is probably the best thing. Or heck, just turn them on and then just let them play overnight while you sleep. Get those watch hours up.
I won't tell. Brett, how many watch hours do you have? Like, how close are you to the magic first 3,000 level?
I think I'm about halfway there.
Halfway there. Okay. All right. I'm gonna help you out today. I'll help you out tonight.
I think I'm about halfway there.
When people in our YouTube space like this tell me that, I definitely make it a point to go and give them some love in the watch hour department. Do you have playlists? Because that's the easiest way. If you have playlists, so you could just hit play all.
Carnivore playlist, and it's got every video in it.
Perfect. Yep. So that's what I'm gonna do. Hit play all, and hopefully some of you will do the same, so Brett can get his 3,000 and then 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to get to get monetized on the channel, not to really make money, but maybe just to help out with paying for subscriptions
Mhm.
for StreamYard and,
Mhm.
Canva and things like that to help land
Yeah.
content. But,
Yeah, I've put out a few $100, for sure. Like I just got this microphone right here,
ah,
and
I need to
this
get
is my newest thing because I'm like I need like a real microphone. So I'm
yeah,
super happy with it. But yeah, Canva, like that's not free. I mean, there's a free
right.
version, but it's really not doable. Free StreamYard's not free to do these live streams. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I hear you.
So,
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and I'm sure we'll see you on another live stream soon.
all right. It was a pleasure, Christy. Thank you very
Yep,
much for having me on. And thanks for
absolutely.
everybody who joined in the chat and watched through my channel. I know that's helping me out too. Renee and Mike and everybody who Susan and everybody who came in through my channel. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Bye,
All right.
everyone.